Hey, it's Whitney from EcoVeganGal.com and welcome back to the EVG Venture channel where I share my experiences about running an online business and all of the lessons that I've learned along the way. Thank you so much for being here. I've been receiving a lot of feedback recently as I've been promoting this channel more, and there's just so much going on right now. I've become more and more passionate about helping other people start their own online businesses, whether they're blogs or YouTube channels or social media, and learn how to monetize them, learn how to take the steps necessary to make this your full-time career as I have. And recently, I have a few new things. I have the Real Influencer podcast and website, which I'm doing with Kobe Kim from the vegan YouTube channel Vegetorials. And we just launched the Sponsorship Strategy System, which is an online course to teach other content creators how to get sponsored for their work. It's been such an amazing process, and I've met incredible content creators recently that have inspired this video here today. We had a massive response to the sponsorship strategy free training that we offered, and we've been engaging with lots of people that I've known for a little bit or known their work, but mostly people that I didn't even know existed, who are just getting started with their online brands. And it's given me so much insight into where other creators are. I want to talk about some of the top things that seem to be holding people back, because I have a feeling you're probably in the same boat, and this is some things that we all kind of face at some point during our careers or even ongoing. The truth is that it never really gets easy. Being an online entrepreneur, making money online by creating content is a lot of work, but it is so worth it. Being your own boss is incredibly rewarding if that's what you want to do. And one thing I've learned recently is it's not for everybody. Not everybody wants to be their own boss. Some people really like having a boss. Some people like having that structure of going into an office and given tasks, being told what to do, following these rules. If that's for you, then listen, if it's whatever makes you happy. This channel and most of the work that I do on the business side is for people that don't want to do that, for people that have that similar path that I have, where they want to get out of a job or they don't ever want to have a job. They want to go directly from school into running their own businesses. And I find that there are some things that get in people's ways, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Number one is a feeling of overwhelm. I find that some people really want to do something but feel completely overwhelmed by it. And I want to say that the biggest strategy for getting around that is to focus on daily actions, those small steps that you can take. This is true of so much of life, but I really want to remind you not to always think about the big picture, not to always think about how far away your goals are, but think about what you can achieve on a daily basis. One of my favorite tips is to do a gratitude journal, or really just writing down what's happening in your day, what things went right, what things you can improve upon, and what you're grateful for. When you do that, you get into this practice of focusing on what you have right now, with what you're accomplishing, and with what you want. Plus, most importantly, what you're grateful for. When you get into that practice, not only does it keep you more grounded, but it gives you something to look back upon so you can really start to track your progress. And being able to track your progress helps so much, because you can look back and say, whoa, look how far I came since last week or last month or last year. If you haven't started one of these yet, do you have any sort of record that you can look back upon? I bet you do. In fact, I am almost positive that you do. Facebook counts as that. Go look at where you were a year ago. The photos, do you look different? Do you feel better? Look at what you were writing. Has your attitude changed? Or has it perhaps gotten worse and maybe not as good as it used to be? What is shifting in your life for better or for worse? And are you happy with the progress that you've made there? That is a fantastic starting point. And then start right now, like right after this video, write down what you accomplished today, what you're grateful for, like everything, business related or not. This could be things happening in your personal life, like your social life, your family, your friends. This could be good things that happened at work if you have a job, or at school if you're in school, or maybe where you're home with your family, whatever it is. What are you happy about? What are you grateful for? This could be your health. I mean, every little detail is so important to having that all-encompassing gratitude. And it will help you recognize how much you have right now. I think that's part of the reason that people get overwhelmed, is they're so focused on what they don't have, what they're not doing, and how far they have to go to reach their goals, that they just spin out of control and don't want to do anything. And sometimes that can lead to depression. This actually happens to me every once in a while. I'll have my days where I think, oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated with where I am right now, and I want to go there, and I see all these other people doing these things, and it's going to take so much work, and I feel like I'm working so hard already. And those thoughts will come into my head, and I'll just sleep. Like, this happened fairly recently, where I just slept for 12 hours because I didn't want to think about things. And that's okay. That will happen, especially if you're prone to that. I just want to be upfront with you that that's not going to go away. Every time you get to another stage in your life, there's another point where you want to reach higher. But remember, that's actually a great thing. Do you really want to get to a place in life where you're just happy and there's nowhere else to go? Like, you're just plateauing and you don't really want to reach any higher? Probably not. Again, if that's what you want, that's what you want. But for most of us, we're always going to be climbing a ladder. We're always going to be reaching forward to another goal. And that's what keeps us motivated. That's what keeps life exciting. In fact, I did a interview with my 96-year-old grandfather for the main Eco Vegan Gal channel. And one of his big tips for living to almost 100 years old is that he just loved figuring things out in life. He loved solving problems. That's what kept him so mentally, or keeps him, I should say, keeps him so mentally attuned. He looks forward to the next day. He doesn't sit around feeling depressed. He's grateful for what he has, right? So a lot of these tips are actually great for longevity in general and just keeping your mood up. But I really took away from that, he just wanted to solve problems. So maybe that's built into my genetics or my family history. But I just think hearing a 96-year-old say that, to him, he still learns. That's the other thing too, is always be learning. Don't get overwhelmed by how much more you have to learn. Be excited about how much there is to learn. Now, I know sometimes it can be easy to fall into this overwhelm where, for instance, through the sponsorship strategy system, I had the feedback for some people just feeling like, oh my gosh, there's so much to learn and there's so much to do. I don't know if I can handle it. And that's a pretty common reaction. I say to avoid that, or to fix that, is to start breaking it down into those steps that you can do every day, and be okay with feeling overwhelmed sometimes. And the more at ease you are with it, the less of a big deal it is. For me, I listen to podcasts all the time. And the podcasts I really listen to on a regular basis are the business podcasts. And I'm listening to these people who are making millions of dollars, who are really well known, who are just seem to have everything together. And every once in a while, I'll feel a little depressed. I'll feel like, oh my gosh, like, am I ever going to get to that same place as them? But mostly I just kind of listen, I take it in, and then I try to find those little nuggets that I can take away from it. I listen for things that I can say, oh, I can do that. I could do that right now, or I could do that tomorrow or next week. And if things are really big, then you just break them down into those little steps, right? It's kind of like with food. When you get a plate of food, you don't just eat it all in one bite. You cut it up into different pieces and you eat it, and you're supposed to chew it a bunch and let your body digest it, right? So think about that too, breaking it up into smaller chunks that you can accomplish. And this really helps with putting together some sort of an action guide. So you could include this in your gratitude journal, or your journal, whatever you want to call it. Write down what you've accomplished right now, what you're grateful for right now, what you want to achieve, and what steps you can take to achieve it. You can make yourself a little checklist, and every day try to check off at least one thing. So of course you need to break it into small chunks so that's manageable. An example would be if you want to get a certain number of subscribers on YouTube, you need to think about things like commenting on other YouTube channels. That is a daily thing that you can do. Making regular content. So how can you make regular content? Do you want to do a big production with a webcam like I'm using right now, or do you want to use a DSLR camera? Do you want to use fancy editing equipment, or do you want to use an iPhone and just edit in here? Or maybe you want to do it all in one take like I do with these videos. How can you break down a video into a smaller, less overwhelming process so you can have it on a regular basis and being able to check it off your list? So it's kind of just like minimizing it and knowing that any step is getting you closer. That is probably the biggest message of all. You're not going to make progress if you get overwhelmed and run the other direction. That's taking you backwards. You're not going to make progress if you get overwhelmed and stand still because you can't move. You're going to make progress with all of your steps, big or small. Don't worry about how long it's going to take you to get there. Don't worry about how far it is. Just start moving little by little, and you will feel so much better with just every little step. And then some days you're going to want to take a big step. And the more you keep walking forward, the more it's going to be appealing and manageable for you to get bigger and bigger and bigger. The last metaphor I have here is it's like working out. If you've ever been running, you know the first time you go running, like ever, or when you get back into the practice of it, it's really hard. You can't run that far. But the next day, you can push yourself to run a little bit farther. And after an amount of time, it becomes so easy and you're running miles and miles. You work up your endurance, and it's the same thing with your work. I know all of you can reach your goals. So start taking your steps, even if you don't know exactly what direction it is yet. Do something every single day and keep track of your progress and what you're grateful for. And I promise you that will reduce that overwhelm. That'll make you feel like you're accomplishing something because you are. You're getting somewhere, and you will get wherever you want to go as long as you continue taking action. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear from you now. Tell me in a comment, what step have you taken today? No matter what it is, it can be a big one, it could be a small one, it could be simply, I watched this video. Tell me whatever it is. Or maybe you are creating the journal. Those are steps too. So give me something. Tell me what you're doing to move closer to your goals, whatever they may be. If you want to share what your goal is too, I'd love to hear that. I just love hearing from you. So leave me a comment. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it inspiring and educational. Subscribe to this channel if you, usually I have a subscribe button on my main channel, but I don't edit the same way for these. So the subscribe button's on the YouTube page. Subscribe because I'm doing videos every week for this. I would love to see you over at realinfluencer.com. You can check out the podcast. And if you're interested in being sponsored, the cart for the sponsorship course that I'm doing is closing on April. Let's see, today's the 14th. I think we're closing it on the 18th, Kobe and I. So that is a Saturday. Let me confirm. Yes, April 18th, 2015, we're closing the sponsorship strategy system course. We hope to open it up again in the future, but we don't know what the future holds quite yet. So if you want to get in on it, do it right now. You can listen to the podcasts for free. We have them every Wednesday. And I will see you in the next video on this channel. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to read your comments and hear what you're accomplishing. Bye.